Hello, I'm Constance Wills, and I am welcoming you to Choose to Challenge. Today, we're talking about mindset, fitness, getting ready for the season ahead, getting ready for the next season. And when I come back online here, we are going to introduce you to my co-host, LaWanna Bradford, and we will jump right into mindset life changes, changes in the world, and changes within us, getting older, birthdays, etc. So please stay tuned and join us as we bring LaWanna Bradford on the screen to talk about mindset fitness, getting ready for the next season.
Hey, Connie, how's it going?
I'm doing well, LaWanna. How are you? Doing wonderful.
I'm doing well. I'm excited about this topic, mindset fitness, getting ready for the next season. What does that all mean?
Yeah, you know what made me think about? Made me think about how people get ready for bikini season, right? They get fit. They get fit for the summer. They work on that 6-pack, 8-pack, whatever it is. That's what this sort of reminds me of. Mindset, fitness, getting ready for the next season. But this all has to do with the fitness of our mind, right?
Yes. Yeah, I like that. And I just want to let everyone know that we are not psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors. It's not intended to diagnose or treat any problems. If you find yourself in a place of crises, contact the number below, 800-662-4357, or text 988 if you are in the U.S. So let's get right into this, Connie. What's going on? What do we need to do to get ready for the next season? You said bikini ready, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yes, I'm nowhere near there, right? Nowhere near. I guess depends on what ready is. All of our perception of ready could be different. That brought us, that was great, LaWanna. That brings us to a point about perception, because a lot of our mindset has to do with perception. So, I mean, some people are bikini ready at 300 pounds and, not muscle, but some people are bikini ready at 150 and solid muscle. It really depends on perspective. So let's talk about life changes. And that is going to depend on our perspective as well. And what I mean is life changes. Say, for instance, we are well past the childbearing age, but now we are in the phase where our parents are aging and or have passed or are passing, etc. So what do we do at this time of life, in this season? How do we get our minds in the right space around it? LaWanna, I'm going to throw this one back to you to start with. How do we get our minds in the right space?
Wow. I think that is literally trial by fire, right? When those changes happen with our parents. I recently lost dad September of last year, and being blessed and having the privilege to be there and be a caregiver was amazing, but it was also taxing emotionally, mentally, physically. You question yourself, am I doing the right thing? You want to make sure you're representing to the best of your ability while still taking care of yourself. And for me, I used to always be challenged because people would say, well, make sure you take care of you first. And I'm thinking, well, I am, but I got to do this first. But as I got more and more involved in it, I realized, there are those times when I had to mentally decompress, when I had to physically pull back, when I had to emotionally release in order to go back and be that strength from both mom and dad during the times of change. And then as it got, to the end of his life, again, we were just so blessed in those last months of his journey. But I think that's where other things come in, right? The fear of the unknown, even though we know this is a path we all must take. as foreign for us, as a family. What does this look like? And being able to, because of the role I was playing, I found everyone was leaning on me. And part of me got angry. Not that, I knew eventually Dad was going to go, but I got angry with folks. Don't you think I'm grieving too? Don't you think I'm tired too? Why is everyone just LaWanna, LaWanna, LaWanna? I'm like, I don't want to hear my name anymore. Leave me alone. So again, just a lot of mindset awareness, but not having the tools to adjust on the spot because I had never been trained on how to walk that journey.
I love that. I love that you said decompress, pull back, and release as in relation to your mindset during that time, because it was very difficult and taxing. And I love all of those words, decompress, because many of us don't even know how to decompress. And pulling back, sort of, it doesn't mean you're pulling away, but you have to take care of yourself and release those, whatever it was that you needed to release to go forward, because you couldn't totally stop. So going forward, and you had to release, you had to at some point find a comfort so you could keep going. And I am just sort of starting the journey that LaWanna's already been through. I'm just sort of starting it with my family, my father, my mother. Just my father right now is he's homebound basically, and we're trying to set everything up. So it's not what you expect. And I know everyone's journey is different. I know everybody's journey with caring for elderly parents is not the same. No one's is the same. But I appreciate the fact I can lean on LaWanna and get some insight from her. And I also appreciate the fact that I have a sister here that also helps me. We can work on this together. But it is a mindset shift. I know for me, and I'm just at the beginning of this, like I said, it's a mindset shift because it can be so emotionally draining. What I've found in the last month is I have been more emotionally drained than I have been, I really can almost say ever, at least in my memory. I went one day in particular, and I think I shared this with LaWanna earlier. One day in particular, I was so exhausted. It wasn't from anything I had done during the day. I just felt depleted instantly, like I could barely get up and walk and get ready for bed. It was that kind of depletion. And I had to sit back in it and think, no, this is mental. This is emotional. This has nothing to do with your physical. And that's part of shifting my mindset to understand, yes, you might be depleted, you might be exhausted sometimes, but you've got to find ways to combat that. Does that sort of make sense to you, LaWanna, that we have to find ways to combat it? We have to find ways to keep ourselves going. And I know you've been through it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And as you were talking, I was thinking about my meltdown. I go on and do my strategic insights every day, which is just words of inspiration and points for people to consider in their lives and in their business. And this particular day, I stepped out, I got in the car, and I could tell I was really burdened, right? And when I started to do my strategic insight, it derailed. And I literally had a on-air meltdown. I mean, it was just raw. And I remember actually going back and seeing that. And I thought, wow, you just let it all out, LaWanna. But I was describing how I was feeling. And at one point of it, I said, I had to get away from the house, deal with this, process my thoughts. And I said, and then get ready to go back in all smiles. Because I didn't want my parents to feel the energy shifting that was going on with me and the uncertainty and the worry and the concern. I wanted to walk back in that home and bring peace and light and love and joy. But to do that, I really had to, release. I had to totally release. I mean, I was a mess, it's like red eyes, snotty nose. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, and I saw the video, and some people I knew saw it as well. And I think it really was powerful, more than what you might have realized at the time. I think that video was so powerful because you were actually being totally vulnerable, first of all, and you let your raw emotions show to the world, to your audience. And the people who know you or the people who follow you, I know they knew that they weren't used to seeing a video like that, but I think that made you even more so relatable, because we're all human here. We all have the struggles. We're all dealing with it. However, you had to do that at that particular time. That was what you had to do so that you could go back, like you said, and do what you needed to do, because you knew there's stuff you had to do, but you had to release that and let it go. So I think that's part of the perspective of our mindset around this whole situation. And we're just talking right now about, taking care of elderly parents, because LaWanna and I are in the age where our parents are the elderly ones. I mean, because we are considered senior citizens, so they're definitely elderly. So we are there at that phase that as we know, a lot of people are. And it is such a challenge to take care of somebody else who once took care of you, who gave you everything you needed. And now you're trying to figure out, you're still the child, but you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm the child, but I also sort of have to be the caretaker. And it's a whole different role that we're pivoting into, that we're moving into. So this is a whole mindset shift. And I'm sure many of you out there have had the same experience, probably have some words of wisdom to give us, but I'm sure you've had that same experience.
And I just want to add this. I think it's real important that when we go through the journey of caring for our parents, is leaving them with their dignity. They are still our parents, and we need to honor them. And sometimes when you're in the moment of critical decisions, or maybe there's crisis, maybe you have to call 911 and you're back and forth to the hospital. I know many people saw me. I'm like, here we are again, back again. But realizing, that my panic at times was just the fear of losing a piece of me, loving so hard that you don't want to let go, but being able to still be respectful and giving our parents the dignity that they deserve in the time of change. Because I had to even ask myself, what's Dad feeling at this time? What's he thinking? Things he was able to do, a month prior, he was no longer able to do. What? And sometimes we would talk about it, and sometimes I wouldn't bring it up, just kind of reading his energy. And it's like, let's not make this a thing, right? So
that's wonderful. I truly believe that, even like we said, even in our parents getting older, and some of them might be suffering from different forms of dementia at different levels. And that is so hard for those of us who have not experienced it to wrap our heads around, right? Because it is not the same person that, like you said, your father 1 month before could do certain things and the next month could not. So they're not the same. They are the same individuals, but they don't have the same abilities that they once had. And we have to think about how they feel. I love that, LaWanna, that you said that. We need to think about how they might be feeling. Now, maybe they don't understand some things. Of course, I don't either. But I'm trying to get to that point, to try to understand and try to be in their shoes and see what they might be seeing. And maybe it's because it could be dementia and they really don't understand anymore. They just don't know why they're doing what they're doing. But it's something for us as the children of them to get our mindsets there so that we can sort of say, okay, I got to step back. My parent doesn't even understand what's going on. I've got to step back and handle the situation in a different way. And that's challenging, but I do know that it's doable. I do know it's doable. It's a day-by-day thing. There's no manual.
No manual. We're going to take a quick break and come back.
I've I've been searching for a gold mine, been digging for a long time, looking for a diamond of the rarest kind. Then one day I found a perfect treasure, a worth of impossible measure. I started to pray, then I heard you say you would forever be mine. I struck love, now that I have found you, I struck love.
Hello, we are back. We are back. I'm sitting up here listening to our break music, and I'm trying to not dance because I didn't want to be caught dancing when we came back online. So I'm up here I just sort of like slowed it down and stopped. Okay, we're done. But let's move on to I am the best chair dancer ever, y'all. I just want to let you know. I can dance in anybody's seat. It doesn't matter. But we are going to move to our next topic, next area of discussion. And that is changes in the world. How do we prepare our mindset, get our mindset fit for the changes that are going on? And there are drastic changes all over the world right now. How are we getting our mindset fit for the next season? And it's already upon us of changes in the world. I'll mention really quickly, the Pope passed recently. How are people dealing with that, wrapping their minds around that? There's so many events that is going on that in this world right now. How are we getting mentally fit for it?
Yeah, that's the question of the century, probably, because we are creatures of habit, and the one thing that is inevitable is change, and we don't like change, especially on the scale and magnitude that we are experiencing, globally, from, like you said, the Catholic Church needing to find a head of the church, to wars, rumors of wars, tariffs, changes here within we're in the U.S., our government structure, what that means, the whole trickle down effect to you as an individual, your family. And the question is, how do we get our mindset ready for that? Some of these changes were sudden. They weren't expected. Right? They're happening right now, rapid fire. And I think for me, it's sitting in the seat of where you can control. And what you can control is how you respond to situations. I mean, I can allow my mindset to get so derailed by a lot of the negative energy that I become part of that energy. And then it becomes toxic to me, and I bring that toxicity into my family, and I'm lashing out, and I'm just spreading this cancer of ugliness, rather than saying, you know what, I may not like what I see, but what can I do to bring light and love to a situation? And I'll give an example. I was talking to a friend of mine from high school, and we have opposing views, and that's totally okay. No one has to see the world according to LaWanna. And I was listening to him, and I'm like, okay, I understand. And then I'm sharing my piece. Well, suddenly I get spewed all this venom, and I found myself rising up in this defensive posture, like, oh, we're getting ready to go there, right? So it's like, you ready to put on the mental fisticuffs? And I thought, no. You're not gonna take me there. And I stepped back and I repositioned the conversation. And I said, that the conversation that we started off with had nothing to do with what you're bringing up. I said, why are you trying to bait me? I'm not going there. But had I, that would have been a whole, mindset hijack. But I was like, no. I recognize what you're trying to do, and this I can control, and you're not taking me there.
I love that. I love that example. And that brought me to think about an equation that I've been learning in a coaching community I'm in. And that equation is E plus R equals O. The event plus our response equals the outcome. So that right there sort of gives you the power back that we can control our outcome. Like LaWanna just said, we can only control ourselves. We can't control anything outside of us. We can just control us. So that event, which in her case was the conversation and him trying to flip, or the friend trying to flip the conversation into a debate or argument, LaWanna's response, which was a no response almost, it was a no, I'm not going there. I'm not going to allow you to debate me. I'm not going to argue with you. And then her outcome in turn was peace. Her outcome was peace as a result of that. She didn't have to be in an argument with a friend. She didn't have to go away feeling flustered or even affecting their relationship or how they talk with one another, because it could have, because people allow things like that to happen. So E plus R equals O, event plus response equals outcome. And we can use that equation in anywhere in our life. If there's a time you're thinking, I'm going to react this way, let's not react. Let's respond. And that's a mindset shift. It's a mindset trick when you decide how you're going to respond. It's basically sort of working with, okay, I'm thinking, no, we're not going to do that. I'm going to respond this way. So my outcome is this. Now, it may not, we can't control the event, and it's okay. We're not supposed to, but we are the ones we can't control. And that's what it has a lot to do with our mindset. We can control how we respond.
Yeah, I like that. And it makes me think that, again, back to your original question, with all the changes that are happening, how does it impact our mindset, number one, but then how do we shift and change and get our mindset fit? And I like the formula that you said, E plus R equals O. If we apply that every time, I may not like what's happening. I may even resist what's happening. But if I can sit into the fact that I can choose how I respond and allow my mindset to shift and control and shape or reshape my paradigm, my perception, so that I can live in the energetic vibe that I want, then I think that's where the magic happens. But if I'm trying to force that square peg in that round hole, I don't want this to happen, or I become argumentative because someone doesn't believe what I believe, or someone that has opposing views, then again, it's just negativity breeding negativity breeding negativity. Connie.
Many times where I allowed, and I take full blame for myself, I allowed myself to get into an argument or into even a state of being where I've gotten into a negative state of being because of something that was said, had nothing to do with me. And it might be said about what's going on in this country. And so I've allowed myself. But this year, I have been careful, y'all, careful to watch my mindset and watch how I respond to certain things. And like LaWanna said, you're not going to bait me into an argument or into something that's going to even, take me out of my peaceful spot, because peace is so very important to me right now. So I have chosen to think, and sometimes I have to step back, especially when people talk about current events. I have to sometimes just step away from it. Sometimes the best mindset for me is to not even get involved, not respond. Don't even get involved in the conversation. Sometimes that's the best one, because many times it's so negative. It's such a negative spot. And we want to keep our minds out of that negative suffering area. So that is something, like LaWanna said, our perspectives, our perceptions of it, we can just have a different meaning for something. We can practice resilience, as we all are now, with what's going on in our world, our country, our states, our cities, even our neighborhoods. We can definitely look at it in a new perspective. And that's really how we have to do our mindset shift. It might be difficult at times, but we have to look at it a different way. And we must be resilient. We must be.
I want to add something before we go into the next segment to piggyback on what you're saying. I'm going to use a specific example with all of the budget cuts happening, or the loss of jobs, federal jobs that are happening in this nation, and the trickle-down effect. Well, it's frightening of the people who are taking their lives because of a loss of job. And I'm not minimizing it, because we don't know where people are. We don't know what things they may have been struggling with. And sometimes change can happen in such a way that it pushes you to the end of your rope. I have just last month, 2 people I know, a dear friend from high school and a colleague, took their lives. And if you had told me that these individuals would have ever thought about that, I would have said, no way. They were the most positive, optimistic, joyful people. They love to bring joy. They walk in the room and their energy was just so infectious. But something deep was going on that no one noticed. And then there was a final straw where they said, I can't do it anymore. And so if there's any of you that are out there that are dealing with anything, that a job loss, a loss of family, loss of spouse, loss of child, whatever it is where you feel like I can't go on. Again, we are not professionals in the mental health realm, but below is the number for you to reach out and seek support, assistance that you need. You are not alone, and it's okay to not be okay. And there's no judgment, but just please reach out to someone who can help guide you, to listen to you, 800-662-4357, or text 988 here in the U.S. And we just pray and just hope that you find the resilience and the anchor that you need to press on and know that this is a moment in time. It doesn't define you, and it will pass. Don't give up. Keep pressing. Connie, back to you.
Thank you for saying that so much, LaWanna. Thank you. I appreciate that, because there are people definitely struggling internally, emotionally, mentally, because of these changes that they have no control over. And I appreciate you giving that message to let people know that there is help out there. There is another way. And we're not pointing fingers. We're not saying any way is wrong. We're definitely not going to say that. But we're going to say that you are worth it. We love you, and we want you to have the best life that you can have. And if that means reaching out for help, because a lot of us don't want to. It might be how we were raised or whatever. We're ashamed. We're embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Reach out for help, because there is somebody there for you. Because I get it. I think we've all been to the point where we want to just give up. It's just too much. I get it. Maybe not at the same level, because not everybody's been at the same level of wanting to quit something. But there's something in every one of our lives that we wanted to just quit, give up on. But many times we have found a way to keep going. So I really appreciate that. That is one of the most serious parts of probably our conversation today, is that the changes in the world, the country, the states are driving people to severe mental illness. And we don't want that. So like LaWanna said, we are not by any means mental health professionals, but we are definitely here. We can point you in the right way to go if you need that kind of help. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back.
Hello, we are back. We are back for our final segment. What are we talking about, LaWanna?
Mindset Fitness, getting ready for the next season, and it's our birthday month.
Literally our birthday month. It's our birthday month. We are both having a birthday this month. We're so excited. And our birthdays fall near the end of the month. Now, I know a lot of people that do have birthdays this month in my family. There's several, and we'll celebrate theirs before mine, but it's our birthday month. So we're really excited. Now, here's the funny part for me. Now, I can tell you, I thought, and this was a long time ago, not that long ago, actually, I thought that I would be at this age, at the age I am now, I thought I would be an old grandma sitting in a rocking chair with a crinkly voice. Now, how in the world does your voice change? But I would thought my voice is going to sound like that. And truly, I kid you not. This was this was my idea of being over 60. I'd be an old grandma, and I thought I'd be, sitting basically on the motherboard in the church, and and I really thought by some miraculous movement, I was going to shift from who I was to this old lady when I became, I'd say, 55 to 60. And you know what? That didn't happen. Here I am, still, and I will say still young and vibrant, although I'm past 50, well past 50, right? But still young and vibrant and an active grandmother. And that in itself was a mindset shift for me, because I really thought age had everything to do with how old you felt and how old you were. I really thought if you get this age, you're going to be this age, because it's what I saw growing up with a lot of the older people that I was around. And I thought, oh, wow, when I get that old, I'm going to be old. And my mindset was there. So I did a mindset shift probably a few years back as I was aging, as I was getting older.
I think what you said is it's based upon what you saw, what you were exposed to. And we look at social media, ads, print, everything speaks to a certain picture, right? And now, because society, especially here in the U.S., we are an aging society. We've got a lot of boomers and traditionalists. And what you see on TV, you see them active, it's everybody's living and healthy. And it's challenging the stereotype that just because you're a certain age, or just because, you now have grandchildren, or you're retired, life doesn't end. I mean, I think about my dad. I mean, even your parents, my dad was 94. A month before he died, he had his professional grade golfing green in his backyard. He was golfing a month before he died at 94. Yes, he was in a wheelchair golfing. And we still didn't beat him.
Oh my gosh.
That was like the embarrassing thing. I said, my goodness, we never beat Dad. And Mom just turned 89. And every time I call her, she's like a butterfly. She's here. She's there. She's active. She's not going to just sit and just, and your parents, 92, your mom's about to be 96. And they are still living independently, right?
Yes. So it is amazing. But you know what? When you brought that up about how things have changed, they really have. Because remember TV back when we were younger? We did not see commercials of older people active. And we saw commercials about retirement homes. We saw Geritol, and Geritol was for the old people, right?
Oh, yeah. Geritol and denture commercials.
Remember? Yes. So, yeah. There you go. Denture, Geritol, denture. What else?
Oh, well, what was it? Alka-Seltzer. I mean, I'm just thinking about,
Yes. And they showed older people over, probably at that day and age, probably people over 50. They showed those people as old and living in, a nursing home, or with the dentures, or with the Geritol and the
Polygrip. That's what it was called.
Polygrip. Yes, there you go. Polygrip. So that's what they showed us. So and that probably partly shaped my idea about getting older, because I knew there was that magic age somewhere between 50 and 60. Boop, you get old.
Right. And and we know people do wear dentures, so we're not laughing at that. But again, it's the lens, right, that's placed before us. Because now, what do they show you? They show you dental implants, right? And so again, people are like, now I have my smile back. But it's just, again, interesting, like you said, that, oh, I know. Remember women who were overweight? You would see them, and they always wore the muumuus, like the tent type dresses.
Yes.
You would never see them ever wear like a belt or anything that was cinched at the waist. It was But now, like, I love what you said. You could be 300 pounds in a bikini. Women
right.
are out there doing their thing. They're feeling good in their skin.
Mindset change. That's a total mindset change. I was laughing when you said the moo-moos. So there was a phase in my life. I was very, very, I'm going to use the word religious because I don't think it has anything to do with the church, but I was very religious at that time. And I used to wear those moo-moos. I was in my 30s, LaWanna, and I would be wearing, and I laughed about it just recently. And you brought that up. And I remember I told Gina, I said, do you know, and Gina's my sister, for those of you, I know you don't know who Gina is. I told my sister, I said, do you know how I was dressing when I was 30? If I would have continued that trend, what I would be doing right now. We just both burst out laughing. But I said, I used to wear those big muumuu dresses. This is what my mindset was. The bigger you are, you wear bigger clothes and it makes you look smaller, which is totally wrong. But I really thought that. So mindset really plays a lot in everything we do, how we age, everything. It really plays a lot. And really, I truly believe the saying, really are only as old as you think you are. And you can take it or leave it. But I believe if I don't think that I am old and decrepit, and I don't mind the age, because I mean, what's your alternative? Either you age or you pass away, right? But I think the age, if you start embracing your age, whatever it might be, whether you are a senior, a senior, a mid-senior like me, I guess I'm a young senior. Mid-seniors might be around 70-something. Seniors like my parents, the 90-somethings. But whether you're a senior citizen, just sort of getting in that threshold, or even younger, you might be in your 20s, 30s, 40s. Embrace the age you are. Embrace where you are. Embrace the changes that come with it. Because we as women, we know there are definite changes that come with aging. But we want to embrace those, right? The menopause, all that stuff. We've got to learn to embrace that.
Yeah, I love that. And I know one of the things, obviously during the pandemic, people couldn't go and get their hair done. So you saw more people doing silver, but then a lot of them, once things opened back up, they went back to their color. And people look at me and they're like, wow, LaWanna, you're still rocking the silver. And I laugh because I'm like, this silver isn't because I wasn't getting a color. The silver is because it's a side effect of having cancer. And it stripped the color. I mean, some people lose their hair. Mine is stripped the color. But I embraced it because I thought, well, I don't want to put chemicals on my hair, given that my body's, in a immune compromised position. But what it did, so this is a mindset shift, because the society makes you think anyone that has gray, if you're a woman, men, they're dignified, right? Look at the Sean Connerys and they're gorgeous grays, right?
Silver fox.
So yeah, silver fox, George Clooney, but the moment it was a woman, it's like, oh, she looks old, she's not caring for herself, blah, 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 blah. And I just started to embrace it. And now it's become my signature, because I know when I walk in a room, I'm going to be one of few. You're going to remember me. I'm very, I'm memorable. Like sometimes if I'm going to meet someone and they're like, well, tell me, what are you going to be wearing? I said, look for the person with the silver hair. And they're like, oh, okay. And the amazing thing, this has blown me away. And I think I mentioned this to you before, Connie. Every time I go out, and this is no exaggeration, every single time I go out, it could be a quick errand, whatever, someone stops me and compliments me on my hair. Every single time. And most of the compliments come from men. Because A, your hair is absolutely beautiful. And B, you are wearing your hair. It's your hair. It's you, with the confidence that somebody who maybe would have, brown or whatever hair wears it. You wear it like that. So of course they're definitely going to, because you've adopted it. It's you now. It is who you are. Right. And you've adopted it and you're wearing it. And I love that, because I've told LaWanna before, I said, I've got to get there. I'm gonna have to jump there one day, because I don't color my hair. I wear twists in it, but I don't color it. And so when I take it out, I may not be as silver as LaWanna,
but I will be pretty silver when I do it. So one day you may just be blessed to see these two silver-haired women on this show at the same time.
I had one person, I was at a speakers meeting, and he's like, LaWanna, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. He said, how old are you? Because I'm looking at your face and I'm looking at your hair and they don't mesh. And I said, why don't they mesh? He said, well, silver is old. I said, silver is a color.
I love
and he just paused. He's like, I never thought of it that way. So
I love that. I know that's a real-time mindset shift right there. Boom. Because you said that and he shifted his mindset around it. That was real time.
And I think it's for women, it's embracing everything. Like I was telling my business partner, I went to put on some shorts yesterday that I can't fit into. And I was laughing. I said, now this is horrible because I just bought those shorts last summer. How can I not fit them? And he's like, LaWanna, you've just been through the most traumatic experience of your life. It's okay. It's okay if you put on a few pounds in grief. Don't beat yourself up. And sometimes life happens, like you mentioned, menopause, right? Other things, shifting emotions, shifting hormones can cause us to expand or contract. It just depends. And you got to be okay with you, with where you are. And you may want to be smaller, prettier, whatever it is, then do you at the right time. Because I believe when it's right for you, your body will naturally release the weight that it needs to release. Or if you're not feeling as attractive, then maybe you've been wanting that plastic surgery for years. Because Connie and I talk about someone we both know. She just went and got it done. No judgment. Do you so that you can do you, right?
That's true. That is true. And you know what? The mindset shift, when LaWanna mentioned menopause again, yes, there are so many things that might happen to us as women during menopause that we have no control over. Let's go back to the E plus R equals O. It depends on now our response. So say, for instance, we are heavier than we used to be because menopausal weight is a little bit harder to lose because your hormones will change. It's a little bit, maybe you can't lose it like you used to lose it. Maybe you're not going to be able to get bikini ready this month of May for next month. Maybe you can't do that anymore. It's okay. Let's shift our mind around that and love us as we are. I think it all goes back to loving yourself as you are. And that is a mindset shift as well. Love you, and then you will love the current you, but you also might have an ideal for a future you. Maybe you want to get that plastic surgery, like LaWanna said. Maybe you want to be in the gym and working out and getting your body ready for a competition, whatever. Love you, but see the you that you want to be, and just take your time and work toward him. You don't have to focus so hard on it to where you make it a thing for you. Just let it be as it is right now. Let it happen. Let your mindset fitness take over and just let it happen. Be yourself. Be that beautiful. I really believe beauty is in everybody. I really believe that. And I know we all have our own little quirks and, I don't like this. I don't like that. The other night, I felt like I was one-sided on my face. I was talking and I felt like I had the dropsy face. So I was like, what in the world? So then I had to just sort of rethink it. I'm like, okay, that was the video. I did it. It's okay. It's done. Who cares? I know personally that I don't have it, but it just looked like it on camera. So any little thing can definitely get us to get out of a good, powerful, positive mindset about ourselves. But because we're changing, we are changing with the seasons. Let's just sort of flow with it. Let's allow ourselves to change and make those mindset changes as we see change happening with us, with our communities, with our states, with our countries, even with the world. Let's allow ourselves to change and change our mindset as often as we need to. Let's not look at
Are you ready?
Mindset. Let's change it as often as we need to.
Are you ready to defy gravity and challenge the impossible? Meet LaWanna Bradford, the visionary leader behind Choose to Challenge on E360 TV. Now in its 5th season, this groundbreaking show shines a spotlight on voices of change from across the globe. Born during the pandemic, Choose to Challenge becomes a platform for transformation where no topic is off limits. Every episode highlights individuals breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and making an impact. Ready to share your story and inspire change? Call 404-618-2824 to become a guest. This is your moment to rise. Tune in now at e360tv.com. Your voice matters. Let's change the world together.
I'm just so excited that it is our birthday month, and I'm looking forward to what the new year will hold for us. And we just want to encourage you as we continue with our Choose to Challenge Mindset Alchemy episodes, that if you'd like to be a guest, if you have an amazing story that you'd like to share, contact us. You can email me at LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com. And let's have a conversation and see how we can take your message of hope, inspiration, and elevation to the world. And before we go, I'm going to turn it over to Connie to close us out. And we'll see you again next week for another edition of Choose to Challenge. Connie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We absolutely appreciate your support. And like LaWanna said, if you do want to be a guest on this show, we'd love to have you on here. Please contact her at the email address she gave. You can contact me at constancewills@gmail.com. I will look at my email, I promise, and we can go ahead and get you on here to speak whatever your mindset alchemy might be. I mean, we all change our mindsets every day. Mindset is something we work on daily, all of us, be it suffering, be it powerful, be it positive. We're all in some frame of mind, right? But realize we have the power over that mindset. So we want to make you aware of that. And we want you to share with us your individual personal stories.